In a dazzling show of pomp, ceremony and sorrow, Britain and the world have witnessed the end of an era. Queen Elizabeth II has been laid to rest after a 6-hour ceremonial event. Jade Kotick joins us live from London this morning, where the service first began. Jade, it's fair to say it was a very emotional day.
Lockie, I don't really know where to start here because this was a powerful spectacle, but above all, it was moving and symbolic of the monarch Queen Elizabeth truly was from the moment Her Majesty's coffin left Westminster Hall. On that gun carriage pulled by the sailors to Westminster Abbey, we saw that guard of honour and then we heard the choir, and that's when it really sent a shiver up your spine. On top of that, we've seen the grief, the emotion all over senior royal members' faces as they've entered Westminster Abbey too. Plus, on top of that, you're seeing some of the world's most powerful leaders, including our own Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and US President Joe Biden, standing there together in solemn, dressed in black, mourning the loss of one of the most powerful women in the world. And I think that's when you realise just how significant this event was and how significant Queen Elizabeth was. After that 1-hour service at Westminster Abbey, where we saw those emotional scenes, King Charles really holding back those tears during that service, the Queen's coffin was placed back onto the gun carriage, and then we saw a 45-minute procession down to Wellington Arch, and that was just another spectacular show. We saw the armed forces lining the route, saluting the Queen's coffin as it passed, and thousands upon thousands of people in the crowd throwing roses and flowers onto the road. It truly was an event we'll never see again in this lifetime, Lockie.
All right, Jade Kotick live in London this morning. Thank you so much. Australians have paid their final tribute to the Queen and watched the spectacular send-off. In Sydney, hundreds attended St Andrew's Cathedral to watch the telecast of a funeral from London. It was a fitting place to farewell the Queen, who visited the church in 1954. While the sails of the Opera House lit up with a portrait of the longest-serving monarch. Among the other viewing sites were Government House in Canberra and Federation Square in Melbourne. Melbourne's landmarks will remain lit up until a national memorial service on Thursday. To other news now, and a deadly earthquake has struck Mexico's west coast. The 7.6 magnitude quake has claimed at least one life so far. It hit shortly after midday local time. Hundreds of thousands of residents in the capital raced outside as buildings shook, while thousands of homes have now been left without power. Coincidentally, it is the anniversary of two other devastating earthquakes which killed thousands of people back in 1985 and in 2017. Meanwhile, Hurricane Fiona has unleashed fury on the Dominican Republic after knocking out power across Puerto Rico. Heavy rain is continuing to pummel Puerto Rico, the governor describing the damage as catastrophic. Residents are cleaning up from torn roofs and toppled homes after winds as strong as 136 kilometres per hour struck the island. The storm is now tipped to head to the Turks and Caicos Islands and potentially ramp up to a major hurricane when it passes Bermuda later this week. The federal government is pushing to finalise a free trade agreement with the European Union. Trade Minister Don Farrell has told his French counterpart Australia must have access to new markets for the sale of meat and vegetable produce, or there'll be no deal, while the EU is demanding Australia dump its luxury car tax. A new round of negotiations is set to commence in October, with hopes a final agreement can be reached by the middle of next year. One of the last remaining COVID restrictions is being scrapped in New South Wales. The mask mandate on public transport will end from tomorrow. Masks will no longer be required for commuters on buses, trains, taxis and rideshare services, as well as at stations and cruise terminal waiting areas. The state government says the decision brings general public transport into line with planes and airport terminals. South Australia, Western Australia and the NT have also ditched the mask rule.